Hi, I'm Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. In today's video, we're going to discuss how the ninja became invisible, how they moved freely through society and was not detected. Now, this particular lesson today comes from one of our 7 traditions of the Budo called Tomo-ryu Shinobijutsu. Now, before we begin, I always give a shout out to all of my new viewers. So if this is the first video that you guys have seen of me, my name is Christa Jacobson. I'm the headmistress of the Budo, which means School of the Warrior Way. We teach koryu ninjutsu and koryu bujutsu, so the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. This organization does have other areas of focus, such as reality-based self-defense, weapons training and tactics, concealed carry, survival skills, martial arts theory, thought and philosophy, martial arts conditioning. If any of these topics at all interest you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to click the bell. I do post 2 to 3 videos every single week, so if you're interested in any of these topics, please subscribe, click the bell, and keep up with what we're doing. So how did the ninja become invisible? How did the ninja move so freely through society undetected and unnoticed? Well, according to the scrolls that I have in Tomo-ryu Shinobijutsu, this particular technique is called Kage No Kamae. Kage No Kamae is not like most kamae that you see in most martial arts, where it's some sort of a fighting position. Kage No Kamae is a philosophy. Kage No Kamae teaches you how to blend into your environment, how to blend into the society, how to blend into the elements around you. You become unseen. It teaches you how to dress a certain way, how to behave a certain way, how to act and kind of move a certain way to make you become unnoticed. Now, this seems extremely easy and very basic for most people to understand, but the training of it is actually quite complicated, and it's a little bit more deeper and dynamic than what most people think it is. Now, Kage No Kamae means shadow posture, and before I get deeper into this particular lesson today, I just want to say, for all of you who are members of the Budo and you're studying ninjutsu in this organization, there's a deeper lesson on this particular topic once you guys get to level 3, which is 7th Kyu. Now, on the scrolls of Tomo-ryu Shinobijutsu, Kage No Kamae is a very deep lesson, and there's lots of kuden lessons that are applied to this particular philosophy so that the student truly understands the dynamics and how deep this particular training needs to be. I'm going to kind of share with you guys one of the lessons that I got from my master with you guys so you can understand kind of a better mentality of this particular position of Kage No Kamae. Sensei told me once that no matter what room you go into, depending on how you stand, there's just as many shadows as there are objects. No one pays attention to the shadows, but they see all the objects. If you can become the shadow, you can become invisible. This is the mentality that you have to have when you're trying to execute this particular principle of Kage No Kamae. When you're out and about in public, it's very important that you don't stick out. Now, with Kage No Kamae, there are many different things that you got to think about, but clothing clearly is the #1 thing you have to think about. You don't want to wear things that's going to enable you to stick out. So if you're going somewhere where everyone is wearing, a tie or, a black dress or whatever that they're in, you want to look like everyone else. If everyone's wearing a red shirt, you wear a red shirt. If everyone's wearing a blue baseball cap, you wear a blue baseball cap. The purpose and the principle is to be able to blend into the environment. So you have to have adequate intelligence and adequate information to be able to carry out this particular concept. If you just go in without any information at all, you're probably going to fail. So you want to make sure that you do get the information and the necessary resources to carry out this particular philosophy. So make sure that you understand where you're going, how they dress, how they act, so that when you get there, you can dress and act in the same manner. Generally speaking, the clothes that you want to wear are clothes that don't stick out. They don't have flashy logos on them. They're usually your bland colors like whites, grays, and blacks. Most people go with grays and blacks because that easily kind of blends into whatever environment it is. If you're in really bright, vibrant colors like red or yellow or bright green or whatever you're wearing logos on your shirts that's really unique and trendy, you're going to be recognized. So it's really important that the clothes that you wear do not stick out. They generally stick to a color scheme that tends to be in the background and it doesn't put itself in the forefront. Again, generally colors that are black, gray, or white. Another thing that you don't want to do is wear jewelry and things that are really shiny and expensive that makes you stick out. If you're wearing lots of gold and diamonds and sparkly jewelry, well, clearly you're going to stick out. So wearing those kind of items do not help at all when you're trying to carry out this kind of philosophy of Kage No Kamae and blending into your environment. So if you're going to wear jewelry, make sure it's at a very minimum and it's not something that's going to be sticking out. Now, outside of wearing colors that are generally background colors, again, whites, grays, blacks, that type of color spectrum, and then not wearing any jewelry. Outside of that, the next thing that you would want to wear, if you can, depending on the situation, is you will want to wear some sort of like sunglasses or eyewear. The reason for that is it helps you kind of camouflage who you're making eye contact with. When you make eye contact with someone, or an individual, they can now connect to you and they can start picking up on some of those small little intricate nuances of how you walk, how you move, what you're wearing, how you carry yourself. So eye contact is key. You do not want to make eye contact with anybody and in the environment of which you're trying to carry out Kage No Kamae. Easiest way to get around that is just wear sunglasses. Now, not always is wearing sunglasses appropriate for the environment that you're in, but if you're outside, it's a sunny day, sunglasses is something you can wear that will easily conceal the eyes or what you're looking at, and it will avoid eye contact with a particular individual. Another thing that I think is really important to kind of get involved with this Kage No Kamae, or this shadow posture, is the type of clothing that you're wearing. This is also important. So just because you're wearing something that may be gray or white or black and that kind of thing, and they're colors that are more background colors, they're not up front like your yellows, greens, reds, blues, that sort of thing. But if the type of clothing that you're wearing is still making you stand out, then even though the color scheme is correct, the type of clothing isn't. Let me give you an example. There's lots of people that like to wear tactical clothing, right? They like to dress up like G.I. Joe when they're walking around the mall. This can make you stick out like a sore thumb. And I know that someone would say, well, I love wearing tactical clothing because it gives me an advantage of blah, blah, blah. I understand the advantages of tactical clothing. However, I also understand the disadvantages of making yourself appear a certain way in a public setting to where there could be some sort of a mass attack. In classical ninjutsu, when we're looking at the scrolls, and I'm teaching from the scrolls, damn near all of the techniques are based on trying to eliminate the strongest target first, because the weaker targets are not the worry. I want to give you guys an example. I want you to think of 15th century Japan, right? We're going back to the age of the ninja and the samurai, right? And I want you to think of, there's a castle. And you got these two badass samurai that's on the outside of the castle, and they're walking around, they're battle hardened, right? And everyone knows who they are, they're badasses. And you got these other samurai with them that they've only been there a couple years, they're still learning the ropes, they've had some war experience, but they really look up to these two. Now I want you to think of another elite group of samurai, these shinobi samurai, right? And they're dressed and they're coming in the shadows and on the outskirts of the castle. They already have the intel. They look at them and they're like, okay, we don't know who all these people are, but we know that one and that one. Those two are badasses. Those two have been to these wars. They've done this. They have a reputation. We're just going to take them out first. So there's these, shinobi samurai, right? They're in the shadows on the outside of the castle. They get their arrows and boom, they take those two out. Now, think of the other ones that are around there. They just saw the two strongest samurai done. In an instant, they're done. And now the weaker ones are in complete chaos. They don't know what to do. They have no one to ask. They're running around, and whoever did that, they can't see them. And then here comes this raid coming right in. They don't stand a chance. A lot of the techniques are always based on gaining a psychological advantage. So let's paint another one. I want you guys, you're walking into a bank and you have somebody that's dressed like G.I. Joe. He's got all the tactical gear, he's got the boots and the shirt, and he's got everything, and he's looking exactly like, he wants to look. And in there is also, like, you've got a mom with a couple kids, a couple older ladies over there that's making a withdrawal or deposit, maybe an older gentleman on the other side trying to have a problem with his account, and he's talking to one of the account ladies over here, and guy walks in with a gun. The first thing he's going to do is take care of the individual that looks tactical, because that's the threat. Nobody else is appearing as a threat. That mentality is the same mentality that we see written on the ancient scrolls on how to take out specific sentries. So I have a scroll that specifically talks about sentry removal and gaining a psychological advantage when you're trying to take over territory. And one of the main principles is to always attack the strongest one first, because the weaker ones will always fall and crumble. That same principle that we see 500 years ago in feudal Japan still fits today. There's no way that in that scenario that I talked about in the bank, you're the one that's standing there in the tactical clothing, walking around like he's G.I. Joe, someone walks in and wants to rob the place, he's the first target. Because when that one's eliminated, everyone else is going to do what they're saying. So although yes, tactical clothing does have its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages. And tactical clothing, and you guys know what I mean by tactical clothing, where they're wearing the camo stuff and they're dressed up like G.I. Joe and all that kind of stuff. That does not blend into regular civilian life. When you're dressed up like G.I. Joe, that does not blend into regular civilian life. Now, there's a term going around that's more modern, and it's a modern concept within survival training. It's called, quote unquote, the gray man. Now, this idea of gray man within survival training is blending into your environments, not sticking out, being mobile, and being able to maneuver through situations without being seen. This concept that we see today in, quote unquote, urban survival training, called the gray man tactic, is the absolute modern variation of an ancient ninja technique called Kage No Kamae. So if you guys are going to be practicing Kage No Kamae and you're going to do it efficiently, make sure that you wear colors that go into the background. Make sure that you don't wear clothing that has lots of flashy logos. Make sure that you don't wear clothing that sticks out from the area of that you're in. Right? Don't wear jewelry that's all flashy and really expensive. Don't wear expensive clothing that's going to make you stick out like a sore thumb, because then people are going to be attracted to you. You want to blend in as much as possible. Don't make eye contact, stay away from people, but move freely in the groups of people that you can without being noticed. Now, for those of you who want to know more about Kage No Kamae and get a deeper understanding of this particular philosophy, as I stated in the beginning, this philosophy is taught on the Tomo-ryu scrolls, which I inherited from my master. So if you guys are in the Budo and you're studying ninjutsu in this organization, this lesson is going to be taught on level 3, which is the 7th kyu, and that's going to be the start of a much deeper understanding of Kage No Kamae, or how to blend in. Thank you guys very much for your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Bye.